Namaste, everyone. Today, we're going on what you might call a Gyan Yatra, a real journey of knowledge. We're not just here to learn about data, we're going to learn how to become data rishis, sages who can find the wisdom that's hiding in numbers. So, let me ask you a question. Do numbers actually tell stories? I mean, think about the last cricket match you watched. That scoreboard is just packed with numbers, isn't it? Runs, wickets, overs. But do those numbers just tell you who won? Or do they tell a much bigger story? The story of a thrilling chase, a dramatic collapse, or maybe a heroic partnership? That's what we're here to find out. And the answer is a big, resounding yes. They absolutely do. But here's the catch. Numbers are kind of like ancient scriptures. They don't reveal their secrets to just anyone. A data journalist, well, they're like a wise rishi who knows the right mantras, in this case, the right questions to make those numbers speak their truth. Every great journey begins with a single step, right? Well, for a data journalist, that first step is always a question. This question becomes our North Star, our Dhruv Tara, guiding us through this vast ocean of data all the way to the shores of discovery. Okay, so take a look at this. It's a table with average temperatures. It's just a sea of numbers, really. Without a question to guide us, we're completely lost. It's just a bunch of information, but there's no real insight, no story yet. But watch what happens when we ask a question. Let's try this one. Has the average summer temperature changed over time? See that? Suddenly the numbers have a purpose. We have a mission. Now we're not just staring at data. We're actually hunting for a story that's hidden inside. Or we could ask an even more specific question, something like, are recent years different from the earlier decades? This sharpens our focus even more. It tells us exactly what to compare, you see? The questions we ask are the tools we use to carve a story out of all that raw data. So, with our guiding question in hand, we can move on to the next stage of our journey, what I like to call darshan, the act of seeing. We need to make the invisible patterns in the data visible. And we do this through the amazing art of data visualization. And just like that, the story appears. This is the exact same data from that table we saw, but now, as a line graph for Delhi, it just comes alive. We can actually see the rhythm of the years, the peaks, the valleys of temperature. The story was always there, but now we can finally see it with our own eyes. Now, making a good graph isn't just about making it look nice. A good data journalist always asks a few key things. Is my graph easy to read? Are my axes clearly labeled so people know what the lines actually mean? And does my title explain exactly what the graph is showing? Clarity is absolutely everything. Okay, so now that we can see the story, we have to tell it. And this brings us to the dharma of the data journalist, their duty. And that duty is to be an honest storyteller, because with great knowledge comes great responsibility. To be truly honest with data, we have to provide context. So, what is context? Well, it's the background story. It's all the surrounding information that helps us really understand what the data means. Without it, numbers can be very misleading. Let's think about our daily temperature data again. What's the context? Could it be the urban heat island effect from the city growing bigger? Maybe it's about broader weather patterns like El Nino. A wise data rishi doesn't pretend to have all the answers. They acknowledge what they don't know. And this is so crucial. An honest reporter tells you what the data shows, but they also tell you what it can't show. They don't make big, bold claims that the data doesn't fully support. They're upfront about any uncertainty. They respect the limits of their information. So we've asked our guiding question, we've had our darshan of the data, and we've taken the time to understand its context. Now, finally, we've reached the last stage of our journey, telling the story. And here is the prasada of our journey, the insight that we've gained. It's simple, it's fact-based, and it comes directly from the data. It tells us the time period, the trend, and the numbers that prove it. This is the simple truth that data has revealed to us. But remember, on the path of knowledge, every answer just leads to a new question. This story isn't the end of our yatra. It's really the beginning of many more. Why is this trend happening? What caused some of those spikes? The quest for understanding never really ends. Today, you have walked the path of the data rishi. You've learned to question, to see, to understand context, and to tell the truth. The tools of discovery are now in your hands. So I ask you, what stories are out there waiting for you to uncover in the world of data? Go forth and find them.